and that's how I'll put it here in inverted commas. That's the name of the game, folks. It doesn't matter whether you're trading the stock market, placing some punting on some or even anything, property investment or wherever it may be. The key for money and risk management allows you to stay in. Now let's look at this. If you have £1,000 in your, take half in your horse, which then goes on to lose, the bank will become half to just £500. Now if you decide to stake your remaining 50% on your, which again lost, then you are literally out of the game. That's it, you're gone, okay? If you wanted to continue, you would then need to replenish your betting account. Now if it's £1,000 is money you simply cannot afford to lose, then obviously this can prove emotionally devastating, okay? So something obviously you do not want to get involved in, okay? So do not allow your emotions to get into this state in the first place. Now, if you had an initial bank of £1,000 and this time you staked only £50, that's 5% on your first horse, which went on to lose, you'd still have £950 left in your betting bank. Now, even if your next £50 was staked on the next bet, which again went on to lose, you'd now have £900 in your bet. Okay, so you'll have £900 in your betting bank. So that means just using 5 of your betting bank, even with some losing, you are still in the game. That's key, folks. You need to be able to stay in the game. Now, we've used a example of 5%. Remember, there is no such thing as the holy grail. In fact, many wealthy punters make money even with a strike rate of between 15 and 20%. And I can tell you, being a former stock market trader myself, I'm very well aware of that as well. 15 to 20%. So many people get caught up in looking for a holy grail, looking for 50, 60, 70, 80%. It rarely happens. Okay, it rarely happens, if ever, to be honest. But the top wealthy punters know that 15 to 20% of the time is a good enough strike rate, as long as your money and risk management is in order. Okay, because remember, it allows you to stay in the game. And that is the difference, by the way, between the top 10% and amateurs, is your effective money and risk management. So, you need to ask yourself, what is your attitude to risk? Now, the concept that the greatest rewards goes to those with the greatest risk. However, this is not necessarily the case. Bear me, sorry, I'm still recovering. The rich do not take risks. They known as controlled risks, and there is a big difference. It allows an element of risk taking without betting all your cards on the table. In other words, you're simply striking the balance, and that's the right balance between taking risks and staying in the game. Okay, so you do not bet all your bank on one particular bet or horse or trade. Okay. Now, what I always say to people whenever I talk to them is to suggest using 1 to 2% of your total betting bank on any one horse. That's just 1 to 2%. It may not sound like much, but I can assure you this is what the top 10% do. Okay, 1 to 2% of your total betting bank. Again, remember, there's no holy grail, therefore you're not going to win on every single bet, or even most bets. It simply doesn't work like that. Now, by using a small percentage of your betting bank, you are keeping yourself in the game. Okay, which, remember, I was referred to staying in the game. That's the key, and that, friends, is the name of the game. So, how exactly do you stay in the game? Well, there are two main techniques I personally use. One of it, and that's to stake a percentage of your betting bank. Now, many of you are aware of this, but I will just quickly go again. Just above, you can use a certain percentage, 1 or 2. Now, certainly 20, 30, 40, 50% or more, any one, you yourself to be out of the game much sooner. Once a player can accept that you can make a healthy strike rate of about 20%, that's 1 in 5 bets, then effective sound money management and risk management is the key here. Okay, so again, only stake 1 to 2% of your betting bank. So if that is, for instance, £1,000 account, stake between £10 and £20 on each selection. Now, another effective method you can use, which actually a lot of people are not even aware of, is to allow your emotions to tell you or to guide you. Okay, so what you do here is you gauge how you feel about the size of a particular loss, and you allow that feeling to guide you. In essence, okay. So making losses, remember, is inevitable to any venture. So however you feel, how you feel about it obviously makes a big difference. Okay, so once again, making losses is inevitable. It's going to happen. If you think this is a game that's you make money 100% of the time, I suggest to give up and just stick to full-time work. Losses are part of the game. Manage those losses. Money management and your risk management is key. Now, if you have a betting bank of £1,000 and say you stake £1,000 on your bet, okay, that's 10% of your bank. How would you feel if this horse lost and you had £100? Okay. So I want you to really think about this. How would you feel if you lost £100 because your horse did not come through and win the race? I want you to gauge that just for a few moments. Okay. Now, would you feel irritated? Would you feel sad and disappointed? For some people, they may even feel depressed. Okay, £100 is quite a big hit to take. Now, if you do feel negative on obviously at losing £100, then what I suggest is to reduce this amount to, let's say, £50. So let's say you were to stake £50 on a particular bet, and let's say that £50 didn't come through, and that you actually lost £50. How would you feel now? Okay, I assume you wouldn't feel as devastated as losing £100, but it's surely probably still feels a bit negative, doesn't it? Okay. Now, if you realise that you still feel negative and it's still a bit too much to lose, then reduce this down to, let's say, £40. Now, gauge how does that feel. £40 sounds still a bit too. Still don't feel comfortable about it. Take it down further. Let's go to £20. How does it feel to lose £20? For many of you, it won't actually feel too bad. If it does still feel quite, reduce that further down to £10. If it's the same, reduce that down to £5 and so on. I think you get the example here. Okay. Now, taking a small loss to £20, for example, might actually feel okay. The most important thing is that it's not emotionally devastating. Okay, and basically what this means is that £20 is your filter, is your own personal filter to say to yourself, okay, this is how much I'm willing to risk and to lose. Okay, so that if you were to lose £20, it wouldn't actually mean much to you. Okay, you wouldn't feel sad, you wouldn't feel disappointed. There will be some element of disappointment, but you certainly won't be emotionally devastated, and that's the key. Okay, so this is a very powerful technique. Okay, if you combine this together with using a certain percentage of your betting bank, remember, this allows you to take controlled risks, and it allows you to stay in the game. Okay, staying in the game is the name of the game. Okay, so I can't get this across to you because I'm very passionate about this. I obviously want you guys to make money, but remember, money management and risk management is absolutely key. So you to give you an absolute guide. One thing you don't want to do is be emotionally devastated. If that is the situation, bring your stakes down to a level at which you're comfortable at. I'll go into this a little bit more in future issues, but one point I will make on that, the reason being is if you are devastated, it will not only ruin your day, but also you will try and play catch up. Okay, you'll try and play catch up, which means that on your next bet you're going to try and win everything back, plus make a little bit of money on top, and that is the worst thing you can do. Okay, I will cover that actually in the next section, a little bit about that, and that's the concept of compounding. Okay, compounding is very effective. I'll cover that in the next issue. One thing I'll leave you with regards to compounding, a question I want to leave you with is, if I was to offer you £1 million or 1 pence compounded every single month, which would you take? Would you take the £1 million or 1 pence compounded for a month? Okay, that's all I'll leave you with. Think about that, and I'll discuss that in the March issue. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed the newsletter. Thank you for bearing with me. I've got like I said, I have been down with a flu for about a week now. But one thing I do want to leave you with as well is a quote of the month from Art Linkletter, a radio and TV personality, and that's 10 at best for the people, the best out of the way 10 out. Okay. I'll leave you with that, something to think about. Thank you very much once again for. If you are interested in looking at topracing.co.uk, and remember to try and get our as well for £40 per month. It's already made people over £12,000 in the last 2.5 months. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Look forward to seeing you in our next news. Take care now. Bye bye.